Hi everybody. I wanted to just check in today, and I know that sometimes, especially when you're new to quilting or sewing, some of the jargon we use can be confusing or intimidating if you don't understand it as well. So today I'm going to do a series of videos, well, just one for today, but hopefully starting a series of videos to answer some common questions we get, because they're not obvious, especially if you're new, and I never want to confuse people or make them feel out of the loop with some of the terminology we use. So today I'm going to discuss pre-cuts. So fabric is typically sold on the bolt traditionally, but to make it easier, especially for quilters, sometimes the manufacturer or a shop will pre-cut common sizes that are used in quilting and then sell them as pre-cuts instead of by the yard. So I wanted to go over some of the most common ones, just so that you have a heads up. If you see me mention it or hear someone else talking about it, you'll know what's going on and not feel out of the loop. The first I'm going to talk about is a fat quarter. This is a fat quarter bundle. A fat quarter is actually generally 18 by 22 inches. Fabric on the bolt is typically 44 inches wide, and 40 to 42 inches of that is usable because you see you have selvage that you're not going to be able to use. But a fat quarter, think of a quarter of a yard. Instead of having 9 inches, which is a quarter of a 36-inch yard, you have an 18 by 22 piece. So instead of having a quarter of a yard that's a long skinny strip and 9 by 42, you have a fat quarter, which is 18 by 22. And this is a really popular size for quilt shops to sell and for quilters to use because it is large enough that you can do a lot of things with a piece of fabric this size. Here you have a lot of options. There's a lot of stuff you can cut out of it. A lot of patterns will call themselves fat quarter friendly. So, and maybe the pattern will call for 8 fat quarters of your choice, and that is a fat quarter. Now, a lot of shops, like I will pull together our own bundles. Like I'll say, oh, this is a cool color combination, this is a cool fabric combination, so I'll pull one together and then bundle it and sell it together. Also, you have manufacturers who will do the same thing. This is 8 fat quarters of various Christmas fabrics. Sometimes it looks like that. This is a larger fat quarter stack, and again, the manufacturer themselves will pull together these coordinates, so that's a fat quarter. They're really popular for people to buy individual fat quarters because it's a great size. If you don't know exactly what you want to use that fabric for, 18 by 22 inches is a good size just to add to your stash, so that down the road you will be able to use it for something as opposed to some smaller amounts of fabric. Now I'm going to start with the most common pre-cut sizes. A charm pack. Different manufacturers will call them different names, but commonly these are known as charm packs. These are 5 by 5 square inches. And what they do here you can see it has the full line of fabric designs in a charm pack typically. So a fabric line will come out and it may have 20 pieces, 20 individual designs in a line, maybe more, but a charm pack is a good way to get a little bit of all of the designs of the line. You can see. Includes 42 pieces of 5-inch squares, which is a good size. It's kind of small. Like if you put all these together, you would have a pretty small lap size quilt. So what I like to do with charm packs is maybe I'll get 2, maybe I'll get 1, and then combine my own fabric with what's in here. They're great for a fast project. They're great if you love an entire line of something and want all of it but don't necessarily want yardage of every print in the line. So those are charm packs. This is called a layer cake, and it's the same premise as a charm pack. You can see here you have all of the line, and sometimes if a line does not have 42 individual designs, you will get duplicates of some of the prints, which is fine. I mean, usually people want that anyway. But this is also 42 pieces, 10 by 10 inch squares. I like layer cakes because they're much more versatile. Like this 10 by 10 inch square, if you put all of these together, you would have a throw, you know, just ready and done. But you still can add in your own fabrics. You can combine it. You can use these larger squares to make other projects if you want to, add it to your stash. So a layer cake is essentially 4 times the size of a charm pack, because 5, 10. It's just a really great way to build your stash, especially if you love a line. You're like, I love this line, I love this designer, and I want a little bit of everything that's in it. Great way to build your stash. Okay, then we have jelly rolls. These are called jelly rolls. These are 2.5 inch strips, 2.5 inch by the width of fabric, which I said earlier is going to be approximately 44 to 42 inches. Jelly rolls, some people love jelly rolls. You can just sew all these suckers together and have a quilt be done. Jelly roll races, you can Google and see what people are doing just by adding all of the rolls of the jelly roll together. They're a little less versatile in my book because they are so thin, but there are tons of jelly roll centric patterns. You can use these for English paper piecing if you want to chop them up, because they are that 2.5 inch size, which is nice for a lot of smaller projects. This is actually a junior jelly roll. There's usually 42 pieces in a jelly roll. This one has 20 I believe. So, junior jelly roll. But people love them. You may find this very useful, especially like this is an ombre fabric, so the color fades in and out from the edges of the fabric to the center. So it's really cool. It can have some great effects. Again, there are great patterns out there for jelly rolls, so go for it. And then these two sizes are a little less common, and there are even more sizes that are even less common, but this is a fat eighth bundle. This pack contains 32 fat eighths, so we had the fat quarters earlier, so this is going to be a fat eighth. And these pieces are 9 inches by 22 inches each, because you've just split that fat quarter in half. So great if you're going to make a scrappy quilt. Again, this gives you a chance to get all of the fabrics in the line of this adorable Christmas line without the investment of getting a quarter or a half yard each. And lastly, this is at least last for what I carry in the shop. Again, there's some other more rare pre-cut sizes, but for now this is what I have. This is called a charm pack. It's also called a candy pack. This is, again, same premise as the, did I say charm pack? It's not a charm pack. It's a mini charm pack. It's also called a candy sometimes. 2.5 inch squares by 42 pieces. This is, for example, the metallic grunge line. And again, you get these little pieces. There are some patterns written to use these. My plan is to use these for English paper piecing because they're the right size, and since I get all those cool colors, they're already cut to the right size that I want. Make life a little easier and one less thing to cut. So as you can see, these are the most common pre-cut sizes, I would say, and they're just used to make life easier, let you get a full spread of the designs in a fabric line without having to buy larger pieces of every single design that comes out. And also, there are tons of patterns that are designed specifically for charm packs, for layer cakes, for jelly rolls. So if you find some fabric that you just love and you pick up a pre-cut of it, just go on Google or whatever and be like, patterns for jelly rolls, and trust me, you will find them. So that's, if you didn't know what that was when I was talking about it before, that's what they are. It's just a good way to build your stash with a little less effort, and also it takes a step out. Some people I know have talked to me about how they're uncomfortable about choosing fabrics that go with each other for quilts, or choosing really strong coordinates. These take the guesswork out of them because they were designed to go together, and they'll make a great looking quilt. Never hesitate to ask any questions you might have about quilting, or if I say something that you don't understand, if there's something you've heard at maybe on a website or a quilt guild meeting, feel free to ask about it, and you can't know until you ask or somebody explains it to you. So love to see you guys in. We just got a bunch of new pre-cuts, some of which I showed today, but hope you have a good Wednesday.